Welcome to APO Productivity Talk Series. I am Dr. Ha Minh Hiệp, Acting Director General, Directorate for Standard, Metrology and Quality, Ministry of Science Technology, Vietnam, and I am moderator for today's talk. Our topic today is the art of digitalization, a dive into e-Estonia. Today, the P Talk takes us on a journey into the heart of Estonia's digital transformation, a pioneer movement that has posited in small nation as global leader in digital governance. From the restoration of independence in 1991, Estonia has embarked on a strategic path weaving technology into fabric of its society, education, and governance. We will explore how initiatives like X-Road, e-residencies, and innovative education platform has not just modernized Estonia, but also set world digitalization benchmarks. Joining to navigate through e-Estonia digital landscape is a distinguished expert in the field of digital governance, Dr. Stephen Bach. Welcome. How are you today?
Thank you very much for having me. I'm doing well today, and it's a pleasure to be here. I'm truly grateful to you, the moderator, and the entire team behind this APO Productivity Talk series for giving me the opportunity to discuss about e-Estonia.
Now let's dive right into our section. Dr. Bach, how has a small country like Estonia can manage to become a global front runners in digital governance? So can you share your screen and start the presentation?
I will start. So Estonia has become a global frontrunner in digital governance through a combination of three key components. So the first one is visionary leadership, where the country prioritized digital transformation early on, led by committed political leaders. The second one is robust digital infrastructure, where the government developed the X-Road system, which is the main key system to the success of Estonia, which is a platform for interoperable system for secure data exchange between the public and private sectors. And lastly, the third one is that the government focus on trust. As they started early on the digital transformation, there was a lot of skepticism. Hence, to overcome it, they were able to create this trust through transparency, political ways. So now I will start about my presentation. So first I'll provide my background, which is that I'm Stefan Bard, assistant professor in Hanyang University, South Korea, in the Department of Industrial and Management Engineering. And I'm also the director of the Industrial Operation and Data Analytics Lab. So before joining Hanyang University last year, I used to work at Samsung Electronics in the digital transformation organization where I was a senior engineer in the AI. So now I will start my presentation about e-Estonia. I know that many of the viewers have heard of Estonia, but I'm sure that they may have some difficulty to localize the country. So in it's highlighted in green. It's a small country next to Russia, where its population is around 1.3 million population. But there's an interesting fact is that many does not know, but Estonia has become a high income country recently, with having a GDP per capita higher than $30,000, and also has a very high human development index. So now I will first provide a big picture on the impact of e-Estonia initiative. In the early 90s, the government, the country itself, faces a lot of key challenges, where it was expressed via this low GDP income of 3,400. They started to digitalize very early on in the beginning of the 90s, and we can observe that through digitalization, they were able to increase gradually their economy. We first can observe that up to 2000, in the middle of 2010, Estonia was a low income country, but they were able to enter the middle income country region around 2010 by becoming with having a GDP per capita above $10,000. But also, many may have heard this, what we call the middle income trap. The middle income trap is that when a country is around 10,000 to 20,000 GDP per capita, it is often difficult to enter the high income region because they have to improve their productivity much more. But Estonia, by continuously improving their digital governance technology, they were able to enter this high income country recently. So we can observe that in the early 90s, which was a low income of $3,400, they were able to increase tenfold in 30 years. So before I present some main technology developed by Estonia about public governance, I will present about the background of why the country started to digitalize. So first, in 1991, the country got their independence from Russia. They have very limited resources with old infrastructure where less than 50% of the population had access to phone. In 1992, there was a very interesting event, is when the Finnish government offered an old analog telephone exchange system. But the decision that the government made at the time is that they refused it, and the main reason it was that they opted directly for digital future. In other words, where the country had nothing at the time, instead to transition to the analog technology, they instead choose to bypass the analog technology and go directly to the digital technology, such as cell phone and the internet. In 1996, there is a famous project called the National Tiger Leap Project. Its main purpose was to expand their internet network. And their main focus was the education sector. This project was very successful because in 1 year, they were able to connect 97% of schools. We just saw that Estonia, which had very limited resources, hence they have very limited financial funding, so they use the public-private partnership, which is a collaborative ventures between the government and the private sector. Its main idea is that they get private financing for their public project and they share the revenue. And this was the key method to the success of the Tiger Leap project. So now I'm going to present the main three pillars on how Estonia developed their digital governance. The first one is confidentiality. Confidentiality is that sensitive information is accessible to only those that are authorized, and of course, protected to the unauthorized users. The second one is availability. Then this sensible information, we want to ensure that they are able to authorized users whenever needed. So this is availability. Then we have integrity. Integrity is to ensure that this sensible information remains accurate, complete, and untouched during its storage. So now I will provide a big picture of the main technology that eStonia developed. So its main technology is called X-Road. So X-Road is a platform that secure data exchange information. So people can have access to this platform and get this information, which can be public services or which can be private service. And the main benefit of this platform is that it's its efficiency, which lead, of course, to cost savings, but it also allows them to create a public trust through transparency. So now I'm going to explain the main technology developed by eStonia in a timeline manner. So I will first begin with the main technology that they developed from 2000 to 2004. So in year 2000, they developed what's called the e-tax board. Remember, all the public services that Estonia developed are based on the three pillars that I mentioned earlier: availability, confidentiality, and integrity. So for the e-tax system, any Estonian resident who has access to its digital ID can fill the tax in 3 minutes thanks to the automated data that's able to generate pre-filled forms. This e-tax system was developed in 2000, meaning that it was developed 24 years ago. For instance, developed countries in Europe, such as France or Germany, developed their own online tax system much later. So we can observe that Estonia started to digitalize and become successful on it very early on. The next technology that they developed is the X-Road in 2001, which is the main technology that drive eStonia into success. The main reason that they developed this X-Road system platform is that previously we saw that Estonia digitalized early on in the 90s. And the problem is that each institution had their own system. For example, the institution that is in charge of tax created their own information system. The institution who is in charge of employment, for example, created their own information system. So it was a silo type structure, independent structure. So it was difficult to share information among them, and it was difficult to collaborate among them. That is why in 2001, Estonia developed this X-Road system, which is actually just a unified platform of all the possible public services that the citizen can have. Now I will present the next main features that eStonia developed between 2005 and 2010. In 2005, they developed what's called the voting technology. So this service is that any citizen can vote online. Of course, they have the option to vote offline, and it is the first service that was created and still the only one which is used. And the main interesting fact about iVoting is that, for example, in the 2033 parliament election, 51% of the population used this iVote system. This means that citizens in Estonia trust their government services. In other words, the transparency approach was able to create this public trust where we can observe from this data. In 2008, eStonia developed what's so-called the e-health system. It is a system that is in a way quite efficient to provide each different citizen their personalized healthcare services. For example, you can see a screenshot of the portal of the e-health service, with each possible services that they have. Another advantage of this e-health system is that it can manage organ donors. In other words, they can allocate it efficiently when needed. And from this e-health system developed in 2008, they were able to expand to the e-prescription system in 2010, where its main idea is personalized medicine. And this is possible thanks to the data generated from the eHealth system. Now I will continue from the timeline from 2011 to 2015. So in 2014, Estonia developed a very interesting concept called e-residency. I believe that this e-residency service is the second most effective technology that e-Estonia developed after Expo. So its main concept is that any Estonian inside or outside its country can create its own business efficiently. In other words, if an Estonian citizen become a e-resident, they can start a company under 3 hours. And I believe this encourage the economy of Estonia, as it was very practical and was very helpful thanks to its efficiency and effectiveness for small and medium-sized companies. And from this e-residency, Estonia expanded it. So this is the portal of the e-residency of Estonia. And we can observe that now any non-European country citizen can apply for e-residency. In other words, not being in Europe, anyone can create a company if they have the e-residency ID. And the main advantage of this is that the European Union acknowledge the e-residency. In other words, anyone outside Europe can create their business in Estonia if they have their e-residency and expand their business in all Europe without living in Europe, which is the second matter that boosts again the economy of Estonia. We additionally observe that thanks to the e-residency service and the X-Road platform, these two got their synergy to create a friendly startup ecosystem. Thanks to these two services, they was able to generate more than 1,400 startups. Now Estonia has 10 unicorns, which is number one in Europe if you count per capita. I believe that some of you have seen this Skype service or maybe even use it before. So this Skype product was a Estonian startup, which was founded around 2008 and was later bought by Microsoft. Now I will continue to present some key features between 2017 and 2021. So in 2017, e-Estonia developed the concept of data embassy. And I believe this concept is the third most important technology that they've developed after X-Road and e-residency. Data embassy emphasize on integrity, one of the third pillars, and risk management. Its main concept is that up to all the system that they have developed, especially X-Road, which generate a lot of data. And from this data, they need to save it. So they need data centers to save all this data. The problem is that Estonia location is not safe. They have some political issues. That is why they first created their data embassy, so in other words, the data center in Luxembourg, which is a city country that is more safe and neutral. In addition, they additionally create more data centers, data embassy in other locations as a diversification method. And we can observe that this idea of data embassy was very successful, especially last year we have the war between Russia and Ukraine. And since Estonia is just next to Russia, but their digital governance system was completely unaffected, thanks to this data embassy concept. Additionally, all the security technology that Estonia base are based on blockchain, where they started very early in 2012, where the main idea is that history cannot be rewritten by anybody. So that is a way to present their transparency. So there's something important to note here to not get confused between blockchain and Bitcoin. They don't use the blockchain technology to save the data. They use it in a verification manner. For example, so to check if the data has been changed or not, since their main motto is that data cannot be buried. Now I will continue with the technology that they developed in 2021, which is Bureaucrat. Bureaucrat is just a virtual assistant for government services. The main idea is that since they have very many different services for the citizen, they create all the government services and information can be accessed now from one place. Of course, it works 24/7 and can be accessed through any channel or devices. In other words, they improved again their availability. In addition, they made it open source. So the concept of open source is very interesting because by allowing such system to be open source, it allows other, especially private sector, to use the system to develop new product. In other words, by making open source, you can improve your economy by creating new companies that are going to use your system, and of course, improve the technology since these companies, in order to sell their product, they will have to make it better. Also, in 2020, they started the CRAT system. So the CRAT system is just the national AI service of Estonia. But Estonia is an expert in digital transformation, but they are not expert in AI. So they use public-private partnership where this time is not about financing, but is about finding private sector that are expert in AI to create public services using AI. Since X-Road is the backbone of e-Estonia, I'm going to present a short roadmap. First, even though I didn't emphasize during the presentation, is that cybersecurity is very important. Hence, e-Estonia try to improve continuously about their cryptography system. Also, since cloud computing became the norm for many complex problems, they try to improve this cloud computing system where they want to deploy an advanced version by 2026. And finally, through the CRAT system, the AI public services, they are currently developing new AI models via the private sector and wish to deploy all the system by 2031. So I'm going to finish my presentation by a case study about COVID-19. So during COVID-19, there was a need of coordination between the public and private sector. because now, at the time, the government has digital competence and all the necessary IT infrastructure. But both sectors needed to cooperate so that they can quickly shift to online learning. And the main idea was to get help from the private sector who are expert in online services to school. So the first product that they created was with the Clanbeat startup. What they created was a metaverse for classroom. In other words, it's a virtual classroom where students and other students can enter to communicate, teachers and other teachers can enter to communicate, and finally, interaction between teachers and students. But e-Estonia did not finish with this product. They improved again. This continued to expand, even though this product was sufficient. And what they expanded to is the development of this eKool technology. So this technology is beyond a web-based school management tool. It is a unified platform that any university, any schools use it. And we learn from X-Road the importance of shared platform. Shared platform improve efficiency and effectiveness very highly. That is why they use that model to the education sector. So I'm going to conclude my presentation. So first, we'll learn about the three pillars that e-Estonia are based on, which are confidentiality, availability, and integrity. We also saw the effectiveness of public-private partnership. In the beginning, it was in a financing, funding way. Then later, it was focused on more on technology way. We also see that the importance of trust and that transparency works in gaining this public trust. And finally, we learn the importance of shared platform via X-Road and the eKool product. So all the data that I have presented during my presentation, if you are curious on it, you can check from all these references. Thank you for your attention on e-Estonia.
Okay, thank you, Professor Bart, for your very nice presentation. I think that all our viewers can guess the very amazing journey from Estonia for digitalization. Now let's start to the Q&A section. So any
Yeah.
comment or yeah or section you can put in the chat box, and I can share with the presenter. And my fourth question is how Estonia ensuring that its digital transformation is sustainable and environmentally friendly. That is very important because digital and green is very I think the couple of issue in recent year. And are there any specific green initiatives filled to its digital project? Thank you.
As you said, very important, focused on sustainable digital transformation. So the first one is during my presentation, I talked about data embassy, where I emphasize about integrity. But there is another advantage of data embassy. Since the main idea is to locate in a different country, you can locate the data embassy in a country that use green energy, that are able to create energy efficient data center. The second one is that there's many digital projects with environmental benefits. For instance, all the e-residency and remote services that we saw, we can see that any users that complete their task online then this in the end reduces any physical trouble and paperwork, leading to a more eco. In addition, I didn't mention about smart city initiatives, but e-Estonia implemented a lot of smart grids, developed intelligent transport system, and focused on building energy efficient buildings. And finally, I believe that e-Estonia is also currently promoting renewable energy, especially increasing the use of wind and solar power.
Okay, thank you, Professor Ba. So I just want to have a little bit comment that the how about the green initiative? So I mean that for the production, not only the policy from government like smart city. I mean the production. How do you have any idea or initiative to integrate the digital project with the green production? I mean the green manufacturing. Yeah, do you have any idea for that?
So, so that is also a good question. So, Estonia, their main economy is more service based than manufacturing based. So, all their concentration, since it's in service products, so digital products. So actually, in green manufacturing, I would say that Germany is much more advanced in that domain, but Estonia doesn't really have main focus on green manufacturing since it's not their expertise, but they are trying to promote green technology during their digital services because we know that data centers consume a lot of energy. It is known that data centers are not green because to provide uh, sufficient energy to data centers, the only solution that we currently have is nuclear power. So, or maybe you can try to diversify where 80% can be nuclear and other percent can be from different source. But as you mentioned, it's still a very difficult problem where since the size of the data is continuing to get much, much bigger. So now we have big companies, especially in the USA, that invest now again to nuclear powers to these data centers. So it is a very good question, and actually, it's very difficult to to create a sustainable digital transformation currently.
Okay,
Thank you for your
thank
comment.
you for your answer. Yeah, thank you for your answer. I think it's your answer is clear, and we can imagine such kind of contributes from the digital project to the green initiative. The second issue I would like to have discussed with you related to the employment or employees. How was digital transformation impacted employment patterns in Estonia, particularly in terms of job creation in the ICT sector versus job displacement in the traditional sectors? Do you have any comment for that?
Okay, so this is also a very interesting question. So first, we know that the Estonia main economy is based in ICT sector. So, of course, since they digitalized from the 90s up to now, and they are still continuing to improve their system, it has created a lot of job opportunities in the ICT sectors, where we can saw it in their improvement in their GDP per capita, and which was also helpful to provide significant foreign investment. We also saw during the talk about the e-residency and the X-Road system was able to create a friendly startup ecosystem. And this also helps the economy, especially in the ICT sectors. Now, the second point, which is very important too, as you mentioned, is then how about employees who are in the traditional sectors and want to transition to the ICT sectors. And here they have two initiatives. First, in the government side, of course, they focus on reskilling, upskilling, and career transition support. And similarly, in the private sector, they will also try to train their employees and to provide the employees continuous learning opportunity. So we can observe from here that their digital transformation was a very positive employment trend.
Mm. Okay, yeah, yeah, we can imagine that your government also have strategies to keep the balance. Since many employees they move to the ICT sector, but we still have such kind of training or continuous learning to move there to the industrial 4.0. So can you share a little bit in this question a little bit? How about the employees' behavior? They are easy to change with that.
So that's a very good question. So it depends on the age, actually. So often the younger generation. So
Yeah.
actually, it depends in the generation that was during the digitalization journey and the generation that was before the digitalization journey. So for the generation that was in the digitalization journey, they don't really have difficulties with the ICT technology and can even easily transition to it since they have all the necessary education. But as you mentioned, the main difficulties arise from the generation that was before this digitalization journey. So actually, the government tries to provide them some online academy services, courses, etc., for free. But as you say, it's not that easy for them to transition. And I will also point out that the even the transition sector, they are still very important for the country since not everybody can work to the ICT sectors since they still need some analog technology. So these people can continue if they have their own expertise on it. So yes.
Okay, thank you, Professor Bang. So, completely agree with you that the young generation they will be easier to adopt with the transition. Related to
Yes.
my third question, what measure are in place to ensure that digital transformation benefits all segments of the population, including the rural and economical disadvantaged groups? Do you have any
Hmm.
ideas?
So this is also a very interesting question. So first, the main measure to ensure inclusive digital transformation is that we learn during the presentation that the e-Estonia is based on online services. In other words, if any citizen has access to internet, they can have all the necessary public and even private services easily. So the main concern that the government had in the beginning is to give as much as possible access to the internet to the population so that they can use the e-government services easily. Now, the other part is then about the rural communities who doesn't have access to high-speed internet or no internet. So it's about the other 2%. And here the government provides some support where the first one is community access points, where the main idea is that in this rural community, this citizen can go to the community center to access to the internet in order to get their necessary public services. Another one is the through subsidies and financial assistance. Since all the public services can be accessed through internet, so the government provide financial aid to low-income families so that they can purchase digital device and get access to the internet to get the necessary public services they need.
Okay, thank you for your sharing. And yeah, from your answer, we can understand that why the number of people to use with the internet increasing in your country. Yeah, very nice strategies. And yes, we talked a lot about the digital transition. We are now concerned about the cybersecurity. Given the increasing the sophistication of cyber threats, how is Estonia continuously evolving its cybersecurity measure to protect its digital infrastructures? Yeah, please.
So this is also a very good point. So I mentioned just a little bit about cybersecurity, but as you said, it is a very important and critical matter to consider. So first, Estonia have two main strategic initiatives. The first one is National Cybersecurity Strategy, which is just a framework to address emerging threats. And also they have the Estonian Information System Authority, which is a system that enables them to monitor threat and to respond to incidents directly. And of course, as I mentioned during my presentation, they also develop some advanced technology about security. So for integrity, we learn about blockchain technology. And for the security, where I mentioned about X-Road, about its roadmap, they're continuously trying to improve their cybersecurity technology so that they can continuously monitor and act against this threat.
Yeah, thank you, Professor Bar. Yeah, the blockchain technology is nice technology to help us to have the higher cybersecurity. Yeah, I remember in your presentation, in the slide you talk about the X-Road, the backbone of the e-Estonia, right? And also in that slide, I remember they have such kind of collaboration, international collaboration. And do you think are there some chance for the I mean for the cyber threat if the X-ray X-road have the international cooperation? I would like to ask you to have more explanation for that. I mean the X-ray security, yeah, X-road security. Sorry.
So this is a very good point because, as I mentioned, X-Road is the main backbone. So since it was the main backbone, if if a threat success to enter it, then you will have get a lot of damage. And actually, recently, so not recently, maybe it was around 2008 or 2010, the X-Road system got hacked or was not completely hacked, but was there was attacked by some threat. And it was at that time that Estonia started to emphasize about cyber security much more. So even though mentioned very lightly, but since Xroad is a secure system via encryption, where their encryption system is always improving, since threats are always improving. So to match new threat, they have to improve the new cybersecurity system. Hence, they are currently quite advanced in handling these issues with Xroad. Thank you for your
Okay.
comment.
Yeah. Thank you for your answer. I think very excellent. And my next question is how is Estonia collaborating with other countries to enhance its digital services? Yeah, because I think that for the digital we need such kind of ecosystem, yeah, to enhance our services. Thank you.
That's true. I believe that is also another advantage that digital services can have. So first, e-Estonia enhance their digital services via international collaboration. And the first one is about cross-border data exchange. So this is an agreement between the X-road system that Estonia used and a X-road system that Finland use. And actually, they created another unified platform where public and private services from X-road of Estonia and public-private services of X-road of Finland are not all of them, but some of them are unified, especially to improve efficiency about trade. So everything economic related. Also, they were able to enhance their digital services through government agreements, especially between Estonia and Singapore, where they made an agreement to cooperate on e-government project, since both countries are expert in this digital governance. Also, they enhance their digital services through knowledge sharing. So they developed the e-governance academy where Estonia share their expertise in digital governance worldwide. And finally, Estonia enhanced their digital services in Europe via the Horizon Europe program, which is a research oriented to digital technology, where they were going to create some innovative program to advance their digital technology.
Okay, thank you. Just a little bit deeper in this question. I understand that the international cooperation, multilateral agreements, also knowledge
Mhm.
sharing, and research and innovation is very important. How about one of the very important stakeholder? I mean the SME. So are there some kind of collaboration with the SME, not only in Estonia, also in Europeans, to enhance the digital service in your country?
Oh, so that's a very interesting
Yeah,
question. So actually, so this is it depends on how you view SMEs. So in my opinion, so especially in the digital technology, you have many startups, and often startups, but depends on how you view it. If you view it only on the size, they are SMEs, but if you view it on their asset or otherwise, they can not viewed as SMEs. So it's going to depend on your main view of SMEs. But since the country likes the startup ecosystem, so they like startups not only from Estonia, but they also like from the Union European, especially with the Tourism Europe. So they try to collaborate with other startups, especially through they can do it directly or they can do it as a public-private partnership that as I have discussed, but not about financial funding, but from the expertise that this startup has. And this is currently true in the AI technology that I have mentioned. Estonia is not an expert in AI technology, so they are collaborating with startup on AI to improve or create this public AI service. Well, thank you for your very interesting comment.
Okay, thank you for your answer. And yes, the next question related to AI, right? Yeah, how is Estonia exploring the use of generative AI to enhance the digital government services? Are there any pilot projects or planned initiatives in this area? We would like to hear the experience from you. It will be very good for our APO member economies. Thank you very much.
As I just mentioned earlier, we learn about the CRAT system, where its main focus is to provide public AI services. But as we may have heard several times now, that Estonia is not expert in AI. So they have to find expert in other countries or public or private or even universities, research centers, so that they can develop their main AI-based product. Because actually it's difficult to deploy an AI model to be usable without any problems. That is why Estonia is taking the time up to 2031 that we saw from the roadmap. And the main use of generative AI that they have in mind is first the automated customer services as developing AI driven chatbot and improving the virtual assistant services that we saw called bureaucrat. Also, since each citizen public services needs will differ, so they have to provide personalized government services. So this is called proactive government, is to provide personalized services for different cities. And this is actually very difficult to do. And this can be possible if AI technology are well used. And finally, there is a very interesting service that e-Estonia developed is AI Sandbox. So the AI Sandbox service is to provide an environment for testing and developing AI solution for public and private sectors in Estonia. And from this service, they can experiment or innovate in AI technologies, which is, I believe, a very interesting service that they are currently developing.
Okay, thank you for your answer. Yes, yeah, very, very nice information. The AI not in public service, also both also in education, research, and also pilot project like AI Sandbox. I'm very interesting about the AI in the education. Yeah, and my next question is uh, how government, how does the government collect and incorporate the citizens' feedback to improve its digital services continuously, especially now with the AI technology is how to say addressed, improve. The citizen is quite easy to check the information and to ask the AI. And I just want to ask you how the government can collect and incorporate the citizen feedback from your services. Thank you.
Mm. So this is a very good point. So as you say, so we can make it more efficient by using AI technology. But in order to apply AI, you will have to need a good data infrastructure. And to do so, what eStonia choose is to create an online platform only for feedbacks. So it's an online platform where citizens can enter there and give their feedback for all the different public services that they used. And from this unified platform, since now they have the necessary data, they can use AI technology to filter, to analyze all these feedbacks in order to improve their system.
Okay, yeah, yeah. From the answer, I think that citizen feedback is also very very important
Yes.
factor to improve our services. I think we can pass to the final question. Yeah, very very nice presentation today. We would like
Oh, thank
to ask you that what key strategies and practices from Estonia digital transformation journey could APO member economies adopt to enhance their own digital government and productivities? Yeah, these we need the comment to share with APO member
yes.
economies. Thank you, Professor
Okay,
Ma.
so I will answer this question by first looking at the key points that we learned during the presentation, and I will add another important critical information. So first, the first important matter is about the three pillars that eStonia are based on: the confidentiality, integrity, and availability. I think that to develop digital transformation, you always have to consider these three pillars. The second one is that we learn about transparency. So transparency is in the end how to ensure the public trust. Because in the public trust, all this digital data is actually private data, so privacy issues, and personal data. So all these matters have to be handled very well so that the citizen can trust the country. The moment you have one single issue or problem with it, then it's the moment that you will lose the public trust. And I want also to mention about public-private partnership. So we learn about public-private partnership in different ways. The first one is that in the beginning, when Estonia has limited resources, so limited financial fund, they use public-private partnership to finance their public project. So this is the first public-private partnership usage. The second one is, as we saw with the AI public services, the CRAT system, where here, similarly, they are going to use not about financial fund, but about expertise in very important technology, which is not that easy to implement or to deploy or to develop, such as the AI technology that which is the main importance. And I want to also mention a little bit more about this public-private partnership. So in the end, what we learn is that if you have a public service, this public service you can uh, create via financing or from the technology from the private sector. But I mentioned briefly about, for example, X-Road or different services that they are often all open source. And the main advantage of this open source is that if you create your service open source from expertise or financial funding from the private sector, from these new public services that you develop, since it's open source, other private sector in your country is going able to use it to create new technology. So it's going by making open source, you can boost the economy since there is going to be new startup or new SMEs that's going to use this technology to create new companies. So that's a way to increase to improve your economy. But another advantage is that by making open source, this company is going to develop new services. But in order for the new services to sell, then you will have to make it better. You have to make it better to expand to different technology. So this is, I think, one of the main reason that all the public services in Estonia, most of them are made open source for their country very early on so that they can boost their economy and in a way they can also boost its technology. And I believe that's the main points that the APO listeners can have from me.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Ba, for your very, very nice sharing. And yeah, we hope that APO also will have the further cooperation with you, and you can share with our member economy in the next year or this year, next year.
Yes.
So thank you, Dr. Ba, for your useful insight. Do you have any final thoughts for our viewers today?
I have 2 points. So this is
Yeah.
not technical, but it's going to be more general. So the first one, which is I really want to emphasize, is trust. How to create public trust. For example, Estonia choose the transparency method, but maybe one can apply a different method. But the main point is to how to create this public trust. And the second one that I want to point is how to consider skepticism, because actually skepticism was one of the difficulty in the beginning that Estonia faced since they digitalized very early on. So the citizens did not really trust these digital services, which created this skepticism. And how to handle this skepticism, I think it's a very important uh, important way to improve the current situation. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Ba. Yes, truth, you're right, and citizen, and how we can handle for that. Thank you
Yeah.
for a very nice, yeah, nice conclusion. So yeah, we are grateful to our expert, Dr. Ba, for this enlightening discussion of e-Estonia digital transformation. It's clear that Estonia's commitment to innovation, strategic partnership, and a digital-first approach to governance, education, business has not only revitalized our landscape, but also served as a blueprint for economic worldwide. Viewers, we hope that this section has provided valuable insights into the power of digitalization and its potential to reshape society for the benefit of citizens. Yes, Dr. Bao also talked about the public choice and also the citizens will be the center of our digital transformation strategy. We also hope that you continue exploring the possibility that digital technology hold for enhancing productivity, governance, and education in our context. Yeah, thank you very much. And thank you for joining us today for the APO Productivity Talk series. Please don't forget to subscribe to the APO YouTube channel for more insightful discussion. Stay tuned, stay productive, and we look forward to seeing you in the next section. Goodbye.
Thank you.